Welcome back. If you're looking to get smart about interesting topics fast, you're in the right place.
That's the goal.
Today, we're doing a deep dive into chaos theory. And what's really fascinating, I think, is how perfectly it explains all the mayhem in the Jurassic Park and Jurassic World movies.
Absolutely. It's almost like a case study. We've pulled together some material that lays out the theory itself and, directly connects it to why those parks always seem to, fall apart.
Right. So our mission today is to unpack the core ideas of chaos theory and really understand why trying to perfectly control something as incredibly complex as a theme park full of dinosaurs is, according to the science, pretty much impossible from the get-go.
Exactly right. Chaos theory, at its heart, studies these complex systems. And the defining thing is their extreme sensitivity to initial conditions. Tiny, tiny changes can lead to massive, unpredictable outcomes later on.
The famous butterfly effect, yeah.
That's the one. Edward Lorenz's idea, a butterfly flapping its wings in Brazil, could, theoretically, set off a chain of events leading to a tornado in Texas.
Okay, and bringing that to Jurassic World, it's easy to picture, like maybe a sensor fails on one fence section, or there's a tiny error in the DNA sequencing.
Seemingly small things. But in a chaotic system, they don't stay small in their effects. They can amplify and cascade into, dinosaurs running loose.
But it's not just random, is it? You said these systems follow rules?
Correct. That's the really interesting part. These systems are deterministic. They follow specific mathematical rules. There's no randomness involved in the rules themselves.
So rules, but still unpredictable. How does that work?
It's because of that sensitivity.
Yeah.
Even if you know the rules perfectly, you can never know the starting conditions with perfect, infinite precision. And the tiniest error, the smallest uncertainty in those starting points gets magnified hugely over time.
Okay, so prediction becomes impossible, basically.
Long-term prediction, yes. It's deterministic chaos. You know the process, but you can't know the outcome far down the line.
Is that where nonlinear dynamics comes in? I've heard that term.
Exactly. In a simple linear system, you double the input, you double the output. Nice and proportional.
Makes sense.
But chaotic systems are nonlinear. A tiny input might cause a huge output, or sometimes a big input might do very little. The relationship isn't straightforward. Think of weather systems or ecosystems.
Or a park security system failing, leading to total disaster. Small cause, massive effect.
Precisely. And you sometimes see complex patterns emerge within this chaos, things like fractals, these infinitely repeating patterns, or strange attractors, which are sort of pathways the system tends to follow, but still unpredictably. They just show the underlying complexity.
And this isn't just movie stuff. You mentioned weather, ecosystem.
Oh, yeah. Planetary orbits, fluid dynamics, population biology, even, some argue, economic markets or heart rhythms. Chaos is sort of everywhere in complex systems.
Which brings us right back to Ian Malcolm in Jurassic Park. He was the resident chaos theory expert, wasn't he? Always warning Hammond.
He was. His whole argument against the park was basically a chaos theory argument. He kept saying you can't just impose control on complex, living systems like that. Nature is too unpredictable.
Life finds a way.
That's the quote, and it perfectly captures it. They engineered the dinosaurs to be all-female, sterile.
But they started breeding anyway?
Exactly. Life, operating within its complex biological rules, found an unexpected pathway. It's like real-world invasive species. You introduce one thing, thinking you know what will happen, and it completely disrupts the ecosystem in ways you didn't foresee.
And Jurassic World doubled down on the tech, the control systems. But it still happened.
If anything, the increased complexity might have made it more vulnerable. The Indominus Rex escape is a perfect example of that cascade failure. One breach, one unpredictable action by the creature.
And the whole system collapses.
Because you can't possibly anticipate every single interaction, every tiny variable in a system that complex. The illusion of control is powerful, but it's still an illusion.
And didn't their attempts to fix things sometimes make it worse? Like creating scarier dinosaurs to boost attendance.
Absolutely. That's a classic feedback loop. Trying to solve one problem may be declining visitor interest by introducing something even more complex and dangerous. It just adds more potential for catastrophic failure. It feeds back into the system, increasing the instability.
So it's not just movie logic or bad luck when things go wrong in those films.
Not entirely, no. It's a dramatic illustration of genuine scientific principles. The disasters are, in a way, the expected outcome when you try to exert absolute control over inherently uncontrollable, chaotic systems, especially living ones.
So the big takeaway here is that complex systems, whether they're dinosaurs on an island or, global supply chains or ecosystems, they have this built-in unpredictability because of their sensitivity. Perfect control is fundamentally unattainable.
That sums it up well. Understanding chaos theory gives you a different lens to view complexity and maybe a bit more humility about our ability to perfectly manage everything.
So, something to think about as we wrap up. Where else in your world do you see these principles at play? Think about complex systems like, say, financial markets, or social trends, or even just the weather forecast. How might chaos theory change how you think about their unpredictability? Where's the next tiny butterfly hiding?